history of Edgar Craigie.
Yeah.
Now, sir, we're going to go ahead and start with, well, the beginning. Where were you when the war started? Were you in school or were you out of school already?
No, I was out of school. I was married at that time.
Okay. Now, were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Camp Carson, Colorado for my induction. Moved from Camp Carson, Colorado to Camp Campbell, Kentucky to start the 12th Armored Division.
Now, you said you went through your training with C Company.
Yeah, 495 C Company.
Mm-hmm.
That was the start of it. I started, well, with the basics, and they had the car, new equipment coming in, everything had to be checked over. They needed mechanics, so I had done that before, so it worked out pretty good that I got in the maintenance department. And after about 3 months, I was sent to Fort Knox, Kentucky, to the basic motor vehicle training system for tanks. And from there, went back to Sea Battery with their tanks. And when headquarters got theirs, they had no maintenance man. So I was transferred to headquarters. And I spent the rest of my time with headquarters. So I've seen a lot of, well, front line with forward observers and that, so I've seen a lot of stuff that other people didn't see.
So, where are you from originally?
I was from Wyoming.
Okay. So, how was it going from Wyoming down to Kentucky? Did you find a lot of difference there?
I would say that when I went to Kentucky, I went back 100 years. Of course, Kentucky or Camp Campbell at that time was brand new, and they still had all the old, I don't want to say shanties at that time, and fixing up the barracks, we always had to have rocks or bricks or something, and used to go out and take the bricks off these old houses to make our walks, stuff like that. And it was not only the outside of them were shanties, the inside was the same thing. Like I said, I just like 100 years.
Yeah. Did you participate in the Tennessee maneuvers at the end of the training
Oh,
at
yeah.
Campbell?
Yeah.
Do you remember any? Does anything about that stick out in your memory?
No, I can't say really it did, because it was just, well, we were going here and there and everything. I think at one time we were supposed to have been captured, but it didn't last long or something. The Red and the Blue Army. No, but Tennessee, Tennessee, Kentucky. Those small towns just weren't big enough for those tanks.
So from there to Camp Barkley in Texas, what can you tell me about
Well,
Barkley?
really, uh, when we left Camel, a crew of maintenance men went to Camp Chaffee, Arkansas, and picked up the vehicles from, I think it was the 8th Armored. And we had to take them down to Camp Barkley. And the first, well, the second night we spent between Dallas and Fort Worth at some racetrack where we pulled in. And it just rained. And we got on it the next day when we made Abilene the next day. But that was the longest convoy, longest distance convoy that I was ever on. And from there, from Abilene, New York, to Cherbourg Shore to London. Well, somewhere in London, England. We spent about a month there. And I was lucky enough not to get in for D-Day +1 or D-Day. But we were there D-Day +4 at Cherbourg. From there on, all history.
Now, do you remember or can you tell me about your first combat experience?
Yes, because we had a motor vehicle that was missing on one cylinder. I was up on the fender checking spark plugs. And here comes an 88 coming through. And people knew what they were. And I slid off the fender down to the ground. And old sergeant that was there, he says, "Don't worry, if you can hear them, don't worry about it. It's the ones you can't hear." So that was pretty good training. Well, I never fell off the fender after that. No, that was the first time I baptism in the fire.
Now, were you involved in the Battle of Herlisheim?
Yeah, well, I was around there. Well, I can't say. There were so many battles right around there that the artillery sat back and sent fire, and the infantry would go in, clear them out, and then we'd follow them up. We got a lot of the prisoners of war to hang on to till somebody else come up behind us and give them to them. But I guess that through all the battles, Battle of Colmar was the one that we I don't know, had the most fierce battle because that was where the pinchers were coming in from the east. And they didn't get it. Thank heaven. And well, after that slowed down, then things kind of quieted down for us. Of course, we done our business and followed up. But during the Battle of Bulge, we were on with the 7th Army. And apparently got called over to the 3rd Army. And they said if the 12th hadn't come back over on the north side and cut the supplies off from the Germans, that Germany would have been in France again. But during that 13 days, we never changed socks. We never stopped.
This is when you were under Patton, pushing to the Rhine?
Well, Patton never got to the Rhine. 12th Army got to the Rhine.
True.
True. 12th Army got to the Rhine first. That made that man mad. Yeah, his Third Army couldn't cut it. You know, the bridge of the Rhine, or the Rhine and Ruhr, I bet the artillery, I bet they shot 100 rounds across the river before they took that bridge.
Now, once the division was in Germany,
Yeah.
how did you find life changed, or the way that the operations
Well,
changed?
really, I can't say that I could see much change in that. Because most people were, some of them were glad we were going, and some wish we weren't there, and of course you didn't, hard to tell enemy from good. Most of the German people are, well, not necessarily kind to us, but they didn't do anything that we thought was wrong. And it was there at the end of the war, I made a trip over to Belgium for R&R. That was kind. I had cut this finger some way, had it all wrapped up, and was the maintenance man for the trip. That's why I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that, we After the war was over, we stayed there for a little while on cleanup, picking up airplane parts and tanks and whatnot out of fields so the farmers could farm their land again.
Now, when did you come back to the States?
December in 46, 45. Yeah. Ended up in New York, come back to New York. That's a trip I'll never forget.
Really?
Yeah. We were in the heart of France, and here's the Enterprise loading up over here. They put on several thousand men. And here's an old victory ship over here. That's when we got. Well, when we got to New York, I'm glad I didn't get on that Enterprise. Because apparently they had come out of Mediterranean Sea and headed right straight for New York, and they hit one of these tropical storms. Folded the front deck of that Enterprise up just like you took a can opener, opened a can of sardines. Our old victory ship, he goes right straight across the Panama and up the coast. And we pulled in one day after the Enterprise. They were carrying men off that Enterprise. All of us walked off.
So, what did you do after the war?
Well, after the war, I kept on with my mechanics for a while. And I wasn't going anywhere, just living day to day. So I decided that maybe I should go to some kind of electronic school. So I went right back to electronic school in Omaha, Nebraska. And I worked for a television radio company there after I graduated from school for a while. I said, heck with this, I'll start my own. Well, 4 years after I started, the doctor says, you get the heck out of that business. Too much stress on you. So at that time, General Dynamics would come in with the Atlas missile bases. And I applied for a job there, and they put me on as an inspector. So then I was all over the country. Cheyenne, Topeka, Plattsburgh. And back from that, I got a job. Well, not immediately, because immediately I took a job as a cement truck driver. I paid good money. Long hours, hard work. I was young then. Or younger, I should say. But anyway, then a steel company was starting up a horse trailer division, making big horse trailers. And they wanted somebody for a foreman. And I applied for it and I got it. I retired from them 20 years after it. Since then I've been all over the country. Here, there, and everywhere.
Well, is there anything else you feel you want to add, or stories you want to tell, or anything else you want to talk about?
Not necessarily. Only thing, when going up through Germany. As you know, the Dachau and that. I think that is the worst thing I had ever seen, physically. Those people, well, we were there within hours of being freed. Those people were actually starving to death. But we actually gave them all the K rations and stuff that we had in the tanks. I don't know how many of them it helped, but it helped some of them. We were just there and gone. But you could smell that place for a mile. No, that's the one place. I've got some pictures, a couple of pictures of it. I was going to bring my pictures and I kind of forgot them.
It's okay, you're entitled. Well, sir, I want to thank you for sitting down and taking this
Okay.
interview with me.